All right, so we're going deep on this one. Rascal does not dream of Bunny Girl Senpai. Or how about we just call it Bunny Girl Senpai for short?
Definitely rolls off the tongue a bit easier.
Yeah, for sure. That title's quite a mouthful. But anyway, we're checking out all the early fan reactions. Seems like just the first episode has got people talking already. We're pulling from my anim list. And yeah, lots of buzz there. Some people are totally into it already. And others are like, not so much.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see that kind of split.
Yeah. So get ready for invisible bunny girls.
Yeah.
Mysterious syndromes.
And we're going to break down what the fans are saying about all of it.
I think what's fascinating is how they managed to make it, like, both fun and kind of thought-provoking at the same time.
Yeah, totally.
It's not a combo you see too often.
No, for sure. So one of the things that really jumps out right away is this whole idea of puberty syndrome.
Right.
It's like this urban legend, but it's actually happening. All these teenagers going through these crazy supernatural things.
Yeah.
What are the fans saying about, like, what puberty syndrome actually is? Well, the show's being pretty vague about it so far.
Yeah.
But from what we're seeing in the comments, it seems like it's all about the anxieties and, like, just the uncertainty of being a teenager. And then it, like, manifests in these weird ways. You know, you think about all the changes you go through as a teenager, feeling awkward, self-conscious, and then suddenly, bam, you're invisible. Or you're terrified of crowds.
Oh, wow.
It's like the show's taking those real struggles and just, like, turning the dial way up.
Yeah, so it's kind of like taking all that internal stuff and then showing it to us externally.
Right.
Now, speaking of teenage struggles, we have Sakuta, our main character. He meets Mai. She's this famous actress who's suddenly invisible to everyone but him, and she's just casually walking around a library in a bunny girl outfit.
Yeah.
What's that all about?
Yeah, the bunny girl outfit's definitely a choice.
Yeah.
It seems like that's what people are debating about the most.
Yeah.
Some think it's just there to be, like, you know, fan service-y. But others think there's something deeper there. Tied into Mai's character and what the show's trying to say, it's almost like she's using the costume to hide who she really is.
Yeah.
But then also maybe to stand out.
Yeah, interesting.
Kind of depends on how you look at it.
Yeah, and the show definitely makes you question, like, what's real and what's not. Just like these teenagers are figuring out who they are.
Exactly.
Now, this whole idea of, like, perception versus reality, it comes up again with Sakuta's younger sister, Cade.
Yeah.
He starts getting these weird wounds.
Right.
And it seems like it's because of puberty syndrome.
Yeah.
It's a pretty creepy scene.
Yeah, it gets dark fast.
It adds this whole other layer to the story. And the fan theories are all over the place. Some are saying it's from cyberbullying or some other kind of trauma.
Yeah, it definitely makes you wonder if puberty syndrome is just a metaphor. Or if there's something more sinister going on.
Yeah, for sure. Now let's talk about Sakuta.
Right.
The fans are calling him a witty asshole, a monotone MC.
He's definitely not your typical anime hero.
Not at all. What do you think about him?
Well, he's got this dry sense of humor.
Yeah.
Doesn't hold back on what he's thinking, even if it comes off as rude.
Yeah.
There's that scene with his best friend's girlfriend. She basically tells him to get lost, and he just brushes her off with really sarcastic comments.
Oh.
He doesn't care what people expect.
Yeah.
It makes him kind of refreshing.
Yeah.
You never know what he's going to do next.
Yeah, I can see why fans would be drawn to that I don't care attitude.
Right.
But there's also this feeling that he's hiding something. Like, he's been through some tough stuff, too. Especially with that scar we see on his chest and how it's connected to puberty syndrome.
Yeah, that scar is a great example of how the show keeps you guessing.
Yeah.
It's this little detail, but it hints at a much bigger story.
Right.
Like what happened to him and how's it going to affect things with Mai and the other girls he meets.
Yeah, it's like we're putting together a puzzle.
Exactly.
Now, what about Mai, the invisible bunny girl?
She's a tough one to figure out.
Yeah.
Fans are saying she's understandable, but also unapproachable. It's like she's put up these walls to protect herself.
Yeah, I wonder if she's trying to be invisible on purpose.
Interesting.
Like she wants to disappear, which makes her connection with Sakuta even more interesting.
Right.
He's the only one who can see her.
It's like that instant bond.
Yeah.
Because he can see her when no one else can. It really speaks to that human need to connect, to be seen and acknowledged.
For sure.
Especially if you've ever felt invisible yourself.
Totally. And speaking of feeling invisible, did you catch that foreshadowing at the beginning?
Oh, yeah.
Sakuta's reading his diary, and there's an entry about meeting Mai, but it's blurry and incomplete, like he's starting to forget her.
Yeah. That scene is so powerful.
It's heartbreaking.
It makes you think about losing someone you care about.
Yeah.
Like, what if they just vanished from your memory? Will they still exist?
Whoa.
It adds this whole other layer to the show.
Yeah, it's not just your typical high school anime.
Not at all.
Now, before we get too far ahead, let's talk about the animation style and the pacing, because that's something else people are talking about.
Right.
Some are saying it's realistic and understated, which they like. Others are finding it slow or boring.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think they did the animation on purpose this way. It's not like super flashy or anything, but it works well for this kind of story and the pacing. I think it fits with what they're trying to do.
Okay.
This isn't some big action anime. It's about the characters, and it takes time to build those relationships.
Yeah, it's like the show wants you to slow down, too, and just notice all the details.
Exactly.
And the little things about how the characters act.
It sets it apart from a lot of other anime out there.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not about explosions or fight scenes. It's about those quiet moments between people, those unspoken emotions.
Yeah.
It's a show that wants you to really pay attention.
And that's exactly what we're going to do in this deep dive.
We're going to unpack it all.
The characters, the themes, the animation, what the fans are saying.
We're going to figure out what makes this show tick.
So if you're ready to go beyond the surface and really explore this anime,
Stick with us.
we're just getting started. What stood out to you in the first episode? What are your theories about puberty syndrome? Share your thoughts in the comments, and we'll talk about them in the next part of our deep dive.
You know, it's funny how some people thought the first episode was slow or boring. Maybe they were expecting more action.
Yeah, I guess.
Like more explosions or something.
Right, more like typical anime stuff.
Yeah, but I think that misses the point. This show isn't trying to be like all the others.
Right.
It's more about the characters and how they connect. It's not trying to rush things.
Yeah, the first episode definitely felt more like a slice of life thing. But with this supernatural twist, we spent a lot of time with Sakuta and Mai, just watching them talk and figure each other out.
Right. It's like the show wants you to get to know them first.
Yeah, like it's inviting us into their world before things start to get really crazy.
Exactly. And those little moments are important. Remember how Sakuta was always noticing these things about Mai?
Like what?
Like how she would hesitate before speaking.
Oh, yeah.
Or how she wouldn't make eye contact. Those things tell you a lot about her.
Yeah.
How she's feeling, the wall she's put up around herself.
Yeah, it's like we're learning to read between the lines, just like Sakuta is.
Right. He's not just listening to her words. He's watching how she acts, listening to her tone of voice, picking up on those unspoken emotions.
And that's what makes their dynamic so interesting.
Absolutely.
It's like a deeper connection built on understanding and empathy.
And that's what makes this show different.
Yeah.
It's not about the spectacle. It's about the human connection, the small ways we communicate, and how empathy can break down those walls we build.
Right. And that brings us back to this whole puberty syndrome thing. It's so strange and mysterious, but it seems like it's about more than just weird things happening.
Yeah, what do you think it's really about?
I don't know.
Well, some fans are comparing it to shows like Origairu, which is known for its realism, about teenage relationships and how messy they can be.
Right.
Others are getting Monogatari vibes.
Because of all the dialogue.
Yeah, the dialogue, the characters always thinking about stuff, and the psychological stuff. And then there are some who see similarities to Harui Suzumiya or Sakurada Reset.
Because of the mix of normal life and the supernatural.
Exactly.
So it's like Bunny Girl Senpai is taking bits and pieces from all these shows.
Maybe that's why so many people like it.
Yeah, maybe.
It feels familiar, but also new.
Yeah.
But I think at its core, puberty syndrome is about what it's like to be a teenager.
All those awkward and confusing feelings.
Exactly. When you're trying to figure out who you are, where you fit in.
So it's like those real anxieties and insecurities.
But turned up to 11.
Exactly.
Like May being invisible. It's not just a superpower. It's about her wanting to disappear. To escape all the pressure and attention, she literally fades away because she feels unseen.
Wow, that's a really interesting way to think about it.
And it's not just her. Sakuta has his scar from his own experience with puberty syndrome.
Right.
And then there's Cade, his younger sister, who's developing those mysterious wounds.
Right. We still don't know the full story there.
But the show seems to be suggesting that she's been bullied online.
Yeah, that scene where she gets those awful messages and her skin starts cutting itself, that was disturbing.
It's a reminder of how dangerous online bullying can be
Uh-huh.
and how much it can hurt someone.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not afraid to tackle those tough topics. And I think that's why it connects with so many people.
It's not just mindless entertainment.
Right.
It's a show that makes you think about these real issues.
About growing up in a world where everyone's online. And how important it is to be kind and understanding.
Totally. But it's also really funny sometimes.
Yeah, definitely.
Like that scene where Mai is trying to see if Sakuta can really see her by poking his scar, and he reacts like it feels good.
Oh, yeah. That was a good one.
It's hilarious and kind of sweet at the same time.
It's a nice balance between the serious stuff and the lighter moments.
Yeah, for sure.
It reminds you that even when things are tough, these characters can still find joy and connection.
And that's what makes their relationship so compelling.
It's not your typical anime romance.
No.
It's built on respect and understanding and being vulnerable with each other.
And then just when you think you've got them figured out, the episode ends with that crazy cliffhanger.
Oh, yeah.
Sakuta opens his diary, and the entry about meeting Mai is all blurry.
Like he's starting to forget her.
Exactly.
That was brutal.
It makes you want to know what happens next so badly.
I know, right?
And the fans have so many theories.
Time loops, dreams, amnesia.
It's wild.
I think the show is messing with us on purpose,
Yeah,
keeping us guessing.
Yeah.
It's definitely a masterclass in suspense.
for sure. Now, before we go down that rabbit hole, I think we need to appreciate how amazing the animation is.
Oh, yeah. It's subtle, but it's so good.
It's not flashy or over the top.
But it perfectly captures the mood and atmosphere of the story.
Did you notice how the colors would change as Mai became more invisible?
Yes.
Like the world was reflecting her internal state, and the way they use light and shadow.
It's masterful.
Like when Mai is almost completely in darkness.
Like she's isolated and shutting herself off.
Right. But then when she's with Sakuta,
She's bathed in this warm light.
like he's the only one who can truly see her.
He brings her back from the darkness.
It's those little details that make this show so special.
It's a reminder that anime is a visual medium.
Yeah, it's not just about the story and the dialogue.
Right.
It's about using color and light and movement to tell a story.
And to make you feel something.
So as we continue our deep dive,
Remember to pay attention to what you're seeing.
not just what you're hearing,
The animation is telling a story, too.
it's like a whole other language.
And understanding that language will make the show even richer.
It's like we're seeing the world in a new way.
A world where what's real and what we perceive are all mixed up.
Where teenage angst turns into something supernatural.
And where human connection can heal even the deepest wounds.
It's what makes Bunny Girl Senpai so unique. It makes you think differently, see things in a new light, and appreciate all the little things that make us human.
But before we get too philosophical,
We have to talk about the elephant in the room.
the bunny girl outfit.
It's a controversial topic.
Some people love it, others hate it.
Some say it's important to the story. Others say it's just there to be sexy.
What do you think?
It's a bold choice for sure, and I can see why some people wouldn't like it.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to think about the context
Right.
in a different show.
It could have been really cheap and exploitative.
Exactly. But in Bunny Girl Senpai, they use it in a way that makes you think.
Yeah, it's not just a costume. It represents May's vulnerability. Her struggle to be seen for who she really is.
Like in the library.
When she tells Sakuta, she wears it to stand out, to be noticed.
Right.
She's trying to take control of her visibility in a world where she feels like she's disappearing,
It's like she's using the Bunny Girl outfit to protect herself.
but also to cry for help.
Yeah.
To say, hey, I'm here, I matter.
And that's what makes it so interesting.
It's both a symbol of her weakness and her strength.
Her desire to hide and her need to be seen.
Exactly.
It shows that even the most superficial things,
Can have deeper meaning,
if they're done right,
and that's what sets this show apart.
it respects its audience.
And it trusts us to think for ourselves.
It's not trying to spoon-feed us everything.
It wants us to engage with the story on a deeper level.
And to question our assumptions.
And to see the world in new ways.
And that's what makes Bunny Girl Senpai so special.
It's a show that challenges you.
And makes you appreciate the complexities of being human.
But we can't forget about all the different fan reactions.
Oh, yeah.
We've seen everything from people loving it to people hating it.
People comparing it to all sorts of other anime.
Origairu, Monogatari.
It's clear that this show has touched a nerve.
Yeah, it's definitely got people talking.
And it's fascinating to see how differently everyone interprets it.
Some people love the characters and how real they feel.
Others are more interested in the mystery of puberty syndrome.
And the deeper philosophical questions.
It's like everyone's bringing their own experiences to the show.
And that's what makes it so exciting.
We're not just analyzing the show.
We're exploring how it connects with people.
And how it makes them think about all sorts of things.
It's like we're all trying to solve this puzzle together.
So as we head into the final part of our deep dive,
keep those fan reactions in mind.
what stood out to you? What confused you? What made you think?
Share your thoughts in the comments.
And let's keep this conversation going.
Because this deep dive isn't just about us.
It's about you.
It's about creating a space where you can connect with the show.
And with other fans.
And maybe discover something new about yourself along the way.
And that's what makes it all worthwhile. Okay, so we talked about the bunny girl outfit. We talked about all the teenage angst. But there's one more thing we need to look at. The fan reactions themselves.
Yeah, it's wild how different everyone's take is on this show.
Right.
You've got some who are like completely obsessed.
Totally.
Calling it a masterpiece and all that.
Yeah.
Praising the story, the characters,
Yeah.
the themes.
Yeah.
But then there are others who are just not feeling it. They're
Yeah.
saying it's too slow or confusing.
Yeah.
Or that it's just ripping off other anime.
Some are even calling it like a cheap knockoff of shows like Origairu or Monogatari.
Yeah, it's bound to happen. When a show deals with similar stuff.
Right.
Or uses similar ways of telling the story.
But I think you have to remember that each show is its own thing.
Totally.
You can't just compare them like that.
Exactly.
It's like judging a fish on its ability to climb a tree. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it. I think those comparisons say more about the person watching than about the show itself.
Yeah, like if you're obsessed with Origairu.
And you're expecting that same kind of humor.
Right.
And that sharp social commentary.
You might not love Bunny Girl Senpai.
Yeah, because it's more introspective.
Right.
More melancholic.
That's a different vibe.
But that doesn't make it a bad show.
Right, it's just different.
Exactly.
And it's cool how people are finding connections to so many different animes.
Like what?
We saw comparisons to Hyoka, Steins Gate.
Wow, that's a wide range.
Yeah.
From slice of life to time travel.
It's like Bunny Girl Senpai is tapping into something.
Yeah.
Something that everyone can relate to.
Yeah, I think it's about the human experience. Like all those challenges we face in life.
Right.
Trying to figure out who we are.
Our relationships. Our place in the world.
It's all there.
Origairu is about those awkward teenage years. Steins Gate is about the weight of messing with time.
And Bunny Girl Senpai is exploring those same ideas.
But in its own way. And it's doing it in a way that's both fun and makes you think.
Yeah, it's a great balance.
It's a show that can make you laugh, make you cry, make you question everything you thought you knew.
And that's pretty special.
Yeah, for sure.
It's the kind of show that stays with you long after it's over.
So as we wrap this up, I want to say this. Don't let the comparisons or the hype cloud your judgment. Bunny Girl Senpai is special. It's about connecting with people, understanding each other, and finding meaning in a world that can be pretty messed up.
It's about slowing down, paying attention.
And seeing things in a new light.
Who knows? Maybe you'll even learn something about yourself along the way.
And that's what it's all about. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.